I am not sure why, as an early childhood educator for 37 years, that I did not know Teacher Tom Hobson. Certainly, I must have seen him somewhere in his cape. But actually, I met him last week virtually at the Play First Summit when they were interviewing him about talking with children. Now, I feel in some ways like I've known him for years. He really, really spoke to my heart when he talked about the way we often talk to children as adults. And I've said it before, but that stat that 80% of the sentences adults use with children are commands. That just blew me out of the water. But then he went on to say that we often ask kids stupid questions. Well, I don't know about you, but I was always told that there are no stupid questions. But I get what Teacher Tom is saying. You know, the questions we ask children are often questions that we already know the answer to. And so Teacher Tom said we don't ask them genuine questions. I tend to call those questions drill and kill. You drill to see what they know or what they can show, and then you kill the motivation for learning. I remember one time seeing a child that was totally focused on building with these, colorful blocks and just completely engaged in what he was doing. And, enter the adult, and the drill and kill kind of started. Like, oh, this is so amazing. What color is this block? Ooh, what shape did you use here? And you could just kind of see a deflation in the child. And, it's all good intentions, but that level of focus and concentration is just broken at that point. I know I have to work really hard at stepping back and observing and listening and being mindful of the best time to actually have a conversation with children. And as I was reflecting, I thought, you know what, Cindy? Kids actually tell us when it's a good time. They either come and drag you over to their work, right? Or they bring it and they put it right in front of your face. They are opening that door to conversation. So I'm retired from full-time teaching now, and so I started doing some cleaning. 30 years of stuff that seems to accumulate when you're busy teaching. So as I was cleaning and sorting, I came across this book. It's called How to Help Children Learn Through Play. And actually, the copyright is from 1972. And as I was just thumbing through to see if I need to keep it or what I need to do with it, I came across this page, Tips on Talking with Children. But I love the line underneath it, and it says, or with adults, the art of conversation remains the same. Yes, it's the same. Conversation is conversation. So here are a few of the suggestions that were in this book. And it's funny because it's very much about what we've been talking about. The first one was keep it natural. Don't talk your children to death. I've seen that so much, and kids just start to tune you out, and we think then they're not listening to us. Well, I think maybe what they might be telling us is, could you just be quiet so I can think? Another thing was make sure that your interest is real. Sometimes it's great and we love hearing about, their things, but sometimes I think it's good too to talk with the things you're interested in and show them those things. I've seen so many times when I've had guests come into the classroom who are like to sketch, or they're interested in gardening, and the kids just come right there, and then you see those conversations happening. The third point was ask questions / real questions. Which did you like best? What color paint would you like? Those are real questions. Don't talk down. It's really hard sometimes because we're tall and they're small. So it's really great if you can be, at eye level, just like you would be with an adult when you're having a conversation. So sometimes it means sitting in those little chairs, sitting on the floor, having them hop up on your lap. Be direct too. Sometimes, you know what, you can't listen to them, and they may want you to. But it's okay just to say, I can't listen to you right now, but I want to, and let them know when you can. And I found that's really important too with the adults in my life. Many times parents would come in and they'd want to talk to me about something really important, but I was in charge of getting 6 kids to this bus, 4 kids to this bus, and making sure those children that were being picked up got picked up. So it's okay just to be direct, but just make sure that you do follow up afterwards. And the big word in the book was listen. There was no explanation, simply just really listen. And then finally, too, going deeper. Following up on your child's comments, not just the and digging deeper, answering their questions, or, maybe asking a real question after they're talking to you. So that was really cool. But I reflected on one more thing after listening to Teacher Tom's interview. And it's something I've kind of noticed lately, quite a bit actually, that I noticed a lot of the time adults are, I guess, what I call taking charge of the conversation for children. So, for example, a parent comes in and they're excited that they just provided this wonderful opportunity for the family to go to the zoo. But instead of telling me that, they went to the zoo, or asking if there's anything they want to tell me about the zoo, I start to hear like a series of questions. Can you tell Mrs. Sparshinger where we went? What did we see? And often what I've noticed is that the children will look like deer in the headlights look, or they'll just start doing this or shaking their head no, or saying you tell them, and they kind of shy away. And so, I wondered what would happen if the adult came in and started sharing where they went and their excitement about the family trip to the zoo. So maybe it would sound something like, oh, Mrs. Barshinger, we took a trip to the zoo. I love seeing the elephants and the huge birds and the dolphin show. Oh, and it was so funny. The monkeys were imitating everything we did, and we laughed so hard. Wouldn't that be great modeling of language for the child? And also storytelling? Yes. And then I wonder if the child would have some context and then would join the conversation and chime in. Well, I know that I'm going to be planning in this next month to really do a little self-monitoring, just to see how I'm not only talking with children, but also how I'm talking with adults. So listening does take time, there's no doubt about it. But wow, could we give any better gift